Hello there, friends. It is Jimmy Maverick, and we are going to do a mock draft today on the ESPN website. We're going to do a PPR mock draft, picking 11th in a 12-team league. Let's see what kind of team we can get, and we are going to use my app, My Perfect Fantasy Draft, to help us pick the absolute best players. All right, so you can see here that the draft is going to start in about a minute. So when you when you go into the app, it asks you three simple questions. All right, so the first thing you need to ask is, how does your league score points? Well, in this case, this is a 1-point PPR league, so we'll select that. Do you want to engage Jimmy's recommended player filters? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say yes. And what that's going to do is that's going to eliminate the highest risk players from the draft list. And I can show you what those filters are once we get into the draft. And then you need to do you want to enter draft mode? We do. And so we are going to put in that we are in a 12-team league. Oh, hold on here. 12 teams. All right. And we are picking 11th. And just click on enter draft mode. Now, you can see here that here's the list of players. Here are the position filters. So if you want to just look at quarterbacks or just look at running backs, you can select that. And then when we enter draft mode, it's going to bring up these tabs. And what these tabs represent is each round of the draft. Now, we have our picks together, right? So we're going to have our first pick, and then there'll be two picks, and then it'll be our second pick. So because they're so close together, I just bunch them up when you're right on the horn. When you're picking first or second or 11th or 12th, you're going to see the tabs like this. Otherwise, you'll see an individual tab for each round, okay? So if we look at the first round of the draft, let me just jump back here and make sure that, okay, nothing has happened yet. They're still counting down. Who is the top choice for us to take? Well, according to how they are ordered. So let me just show you that real quick. Okay, so here is the list of all the players, and these are all the players that we have to select from that are available between our first pick and in this case our third pick. Okay, so there's that huge gap of time, so we have a large group of players to choose from, and normally they would be sorted according to their expected draft position, right? So you look here and you'd say, okay, well, who's usually goes at 11? Well, it's Michael Thomas, James Conner. Those are the guys we're probably going to be looking at. But what my app does is it has created this score called a VORC score, and that stands for Value, Outlook, Reliability, and Consistency. That's these four columns over here. Right here, value, outlook, reliability, and consistency. Based on how they score on each of these four key stats, they get points. And then those points are added up and they're given a VORC score. And the list, each player list, is going to be sorted by the VORC score. So the highest scoring players will be at the top of the list. The lowest scoring players, the guys you want to stay away from, are going to be at the bottom. All right? So you can see here that Travis Kelce is the top pick. Now, as far as whether or not you want to take a tight end with your first pick, that is certainly subject to a debate. Well, let's go into the draft room here. But who else are they recommending? Well, we could also get Juju Smith-Schuster or Mike Evans. Those are the top three choices that we're recommending based on VORC score. But let's say, okay, I don't want to take a receiver first. I want to take a running back first. Who's the best running back? And we already saw that it was James Conner. James Conner has the highest VORC score amongst the running backs that we have the most likely chance to get. So he's ranked ahead of guys like Joe Mixon, David Johnson, Dalvin Cook, Damien Williams. He's going to be the top pick. So I do like the idea of going with James Conner to open, and then maybe following up with a Juju Smith-Schuster or Travis Kelce, depending on who's available for our second pick. So let's just jump in here and see how things are going. So this is going to take a little while to get to us. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the video, and I'm going to come back when we're within 3, and we'll see where we're at. All right? All right, so we're back, and things are going pretty much as one would expect so far. Again, we are targeting James Conner right here. Let me just go ahead and cue. Whoa. Well, that's the thing, man. They move it, and then it jumps. So let's just cue up James Conner. I think we're going to have no problem getting him. But if he somehow gets selected, according to this list, Joe Mixon would be our next best choice. So let's just see what happens here. And it is us, and Conner's still available. So we will go ahead and take him with our first pick. It's going to be a real quick turnaround. I think we should go with Juju instead of Kelce. I think we can get a decent tight end later, but of course by bypassing here, we're not going to get any of the top 3 tight ends. And that's just a thing you're going to have to realize. All the tight ends will be gone by our 3rd pick if you're picking late, right? So we will come back here, and Juju is still sitting there. It's kind of funny. Going with the Steelers, I guess, right? But really, I just love both their situations. I think they're both going to be just fine. And, you know, you got Antonio Brown here, switch teams. Odell Beckham, switch teams. We don't know how good their role is going to be. How good of a relationship are they going to have with their new quarterback and the new coaching staff, especially with a diva like Antonio. These guys are both super divas too, right? I want a guy that's going to work. Juju is that kind of guy. We'll draft him. We're going Steelers early, right? So let's jump to the next round, the 3-4 round, and see who are we recommending. Well, you can see here that my top choice for the next round would be Jarvis Landry. That's actually a pretty nice choice. What a 1-2 punch for wide receivers to have Juju and Jarvis. I really like, you know, when it comes to the Browns, right, I don't like Odell Beckham, but I love Jarvis because this is his 2nd year in the system. He's already played with Baker Mayfield for a year. He's got a good relationship with him. I think Odell makes his game better, right? So he's going to be a good choice. We could also consider Phillip Lindsay if we want to go with a running back. You know, he is still has an injury designation, but I am running under the assumption that he is going to be perfectly fine with that wrist fracture that he had last year. He should be fine by the time training camp starts. Now, if he is not being cleared, I would not recommend him at all here. But you also have Patrick Mahomes. Like, if we want to go quarterback early and get ourselves the elite quarterback, we can do that. I don't want to do that in a 12-team league. We're going to avoid that. But you can see who else is on this list. We got Mark Ingram as a reach. So when you see these little icons next to the player, that little reach icon, what that means is that on the next round, he's going to be a long shot. So that means there's a less than a 50-50 chance that he will be available. So if you really want Ingram on your team and you're picking in this position, to guarantee that you'll get him, you should take him with your 4th pick, right? Likewise, you have Damien Williams here, who is a long shot for this round. So that means there's a less than 50% chance that he'll be available by the time he gets back to us at pick number 35. Now, if he does make it back to us, we will absolutely take him, right? He would be the top choice. But you can also see that we've got Derrick Henry, we got Kenyon Drake. Well, these are the running backs. We got it filtered for running backs. If you look at the whole list, who else do we have here? Well, there's Jarvis. Okay, Stephon Diggs, Damien Williams, both are long shots. You've got Tyler Boyd here also as a reach, a guy that's probably not going to be available by the time our next pick rolls around. So this is designed to help you make the right decisions on game day. Likewise, this is also showing you who are the players you should just steer clear of. Let's look at the bottom of the list. Sony Michel, Sammy Watkins, DJ Moore, Calvin Ridley, Miles Sanders. These guys all score very poorly, and in a lot of cases it's because their expected draft position is so high compared to where you're actually picking that they don't offer a lot of value, right? So they're not a good, I'm not saying they're a bad choice, but for this round, for this particular league and the way they score points, yes, they are a bad choice here. So that's the players you should avoid in the 3rd and 4th round. So it's going to be a little while till our next pick. So what I'm going to do, oh my gosh, it already came back to us. All right, well, let's go ahead. And like I said, we were hoping that Damien Williams is still available. Is he still available? Let's see. I don't think he is. It looks like he is. He is still available. All right. He was a long shot. We're going to take him, all right, as our second running back. Boy, I love having Connor and Williams, 2 of the best offenses in the league, man. I'm really excited about that. And why don't we come back and let's grab Jarvis, man. Grab Jarvis as our wide receiver 2, and that would make me very happy. Jarvis. Let's go ahead and take him. So very nice, actually. I like our core right now. So let's just jump to the 5th round. I'm just going to close down that thing. All right. So let's just jump to the 5th round and see who are we recommending for the 5th round. Well, you can see the top 3: Sterling Shepard, Tyler Boyd, Robbie Anderson. I love all those wide receivers. I would take any of them as a flex option right now. They're all outstanding choices. But let's also look. What running backs would be the highest recommended running backs for this round? Mark Ingram, obviously we talked about him being the long shot. I would love to get him as well. You got Tevin Coleman, you got Lamar Miller. There's not great choices here. David Montgomery is a guy I might consider he's a risky play though, just because he's a rookie and we don't really know his role yet with Tariq Cohen, but he certainly has a lot of upside and probably as much or more upside as Jordan Howard did last season, right? But this guy can catch balls, so that gives him some additional value. Let's look at the tight ends. What tight ends would we have to pick from in this round? Well, there's a bunch. Look at this. We got Evan Ingram, Jared Cook, Eric Ebron, O.J. Howard. These are all guys that are going to be going between our 5th and 6th round picks and our 7th and 8th round picks, right? So if we want to take one of those guys, if you're like, I got to get O.J. Howard on my team, when do I need to take him? Well, here's your answer. You would need to take him in with your 5th or 6th pick, right? I do not like him, actually. He does not score well on my Bork score. The only one I would really consider is possibly Evan Ingram. But even so, I'm going to wait a little bit longer because if we look at what tight ends are available a little bit later, Vance McDonald on the next round, that's the guy I really want. I want that guy. And if we miss him, maybe David Njoku on the 9th and 10th round, right? That's a good choice. But let's go back to the 5th and 6th. So I think we absolutely need to get ourselves another running back, maybe another 2. I don't mind going early on running backs. If Ingram is available, obviously take him. Maybe grab David Montgomery. Maybe grab Tevin Coleman, who I very much like the news out of what's happening in San Francisco about him right now. So let's jump back and see how we're doing. Okay, so we still got a ways to go before our next pick. I'm going to pause until we get within 3, and then we'll figure out who is available. All right, so we're moving quickly here. It's coming back to us right away. So you can see that I have queued up David Montgomery and Tevin Coleman for my 2 picks. I think going running backs early because they deplete so fast on the list that once you get past like the 10th round, you're dealing with mostly speculative plays. So let's go ahead. We'll grab Montgomery as our 3rd running back, and then it will be a quick turnaround back to us. And next round, what we'll do is we will look at the tight end, and we will look at getting another wide receiver, right? I think that's what we're going to do. So just wait for this guy to make his 2nd pick. And, we can see who's still available down here, too. Look, DJ Moore, Allen Robinson, Miles Sanders, Calvin Ridley. There's Robbie Anderson, guys here just, there's Evan Ingram, right? We talked about him. So, anyway, let's go ahead. We'll grab Coleman. So that means we've got 4 running backs right now. Go ahead, take it. There we go. So we have James Conner, Damien Williams, David Montgomery, Tevin Coleman. I like that running back core. Wide receivers, I think we got a solid top 2, right? We got Juju Smith-Schuster, we got Jarvis Landry, and that is it right now. So we'll get our tight end next. And probably 1 more wide receiver. Let's see who is available in the next round. Who's going to be the best receiver in the next round? So let's go ahead and look at the entire list. So they are recommending Corey Davis. I'm not sure I love Tennessee. I don't trust Mariota. That's the big issue. I don't trust him. He's not enough high volume quarterback to give his receivers consistency, right? You see Ben Roethlisberger is being recommended if you want to take quarterback. Vance McDonald, who we do want to take. That's the guy I want, right? Let's look at what other wide receivers are available this round that we have to pick from. We got Emmanuel Sanders, still injury issue. Cortland Sutton, Larry Fitzgerald. Ooh, boy, not great choices. I'm not thrilled with anybody here. There's N'Keal Harry. He's a risk. I mean, his VORC score is not very good. But, I think he's got a tremendous amount of upside. Deshaun Jackson, he's getting savage right now in his value because we're taking it. We'd have to take him so early. Let's look at running backs. Peyton Barber, Jalen Richard, Nyheim Hines, Austin Eckler. See how it's thinned out, right? I mean, not awesome choices. So Vance is definitely going to be one, right? So let's go ahead. We're going to queue him up. And we'll grab him. Let's queue him. Should be able to get him no problem. And let's look at, oh boy, I'm just not loving this list this round. This is a tough round. We could go Corey Davis. I mean, he's not a terrible choice. But, his consistency isn't great. It's because he's on a team that doesn't toss the ball enough. That's the problem, man. That's what bugs me about him. Hines, I think, would be a decent choice for running back. He certainly has an established role in the passing game. That would be I kind of like that. Let's look at Hines and put him on the queue. So, yeah, he's still available too. And so let's just kind of see who's still sitting on this list. Look at this, Dede. If Dede makes it to us, I'd absolutely take him. I think he'd be a great choice. There's Corey Davis right there. Will Fuller, no way. McKinnon, no way. Tate, nah. Fitzgerald, nah. So again, just not great choices. And of course, Dede went. So it's a moot point anyway. Let's go ahead and grab our tight end. We'll grab Vance McDonald. So we are just going all in on the Steelers, man. I'm just all in. But anyway, I do trust that offense. Believe me, that they will be just fine. They have a system. It will work. Nyheim Hines, let's go ahead and take him. So we got our 5th running back now, so that's pretty good. And I think next round, let's kind of look at the quarterbacks. What quarterbacks are still on the board right now? And we can kind of see. So there's Ben, right? That's the one that we were supposed to take this time. Drew Brees, I'm not real thrilled with. I do like Dak, right? Carson Wentz, he just got a big payday. Russell Wilson got a big payday. And then there's Jared Goff. I very much like Goff. I very much like Prescott for the next round. I'm pretty sure they're going to show up on our recommended list. Let's see here. So they're recommending Sanu. They're recommending James Washington. And they're recommending Jared Goff. So I think we should go get our quarterback this next round, and then we'll get one other player. Sanu would certainly be a good wide receiver. Given that we didn't take a wide receiver this round, he'd be a solid number 3, right? A solid flex play, someone to bring in on the bye weeks. His bye week is 9. Let's see, or how about these other guys? So Juju is 7, Landry 7. So yeah, we definitely need to get ourselves 2 receivers. But I do like the idea of taking Sanu and Goff. Yeah, I think those are going to be our best choices here. So I will go ahead and I'll queue them up. We'll pause until we're within 3, and then we'll come back and see what we're going to do. All right, it's just moving really quickly now. A lot of the players have dropped off now, so it's just all being auto-picked. So this will move very quickly here. And so again, I'm just going to kind of review the list. What do we got? We got Christian Kirk playing with a rookie running back. We got Peyton Barber. Who knows what's going on in that backfield? Jalen Richard, no interest. Ronald Jones, no interest. Dak Prescott right there. Carson Wentz, Russell Wilson. And there's Jared Goff right there. So let's go ahead. We'll take Goff right now and get him done. And then we'll come back to us very quickly. I'm just going to look at what other wide receivers are available ahead of Sanu. We got Kirk, Gallup, Hamilton, Moncrief, Crowder, Humphreys. Oh man, just none of these guys. None of these guys. So they all have warts. I certainly don't need another Pittsburgh player. That's for sure. A lot of guys on new teams coming back from injuries. Not great quarterback situations. So I think really Sanu is the best choice here. So let's go ahead. We'll take Sanu just like we were originally projecting. And then we will jump back to the app and look at the next round. Who are they recommending? Let's see here. We got Chris Herndon for a tight end. We already got our tight end. We don't need a second one. Brady, we already have a quarterback. We don't need a quarterback. Mitch Trubisky. Those are the recommendations. Let's take a look what running backs are available. So Ito Smith is the highest ranked one. Everyone else is negative. That's not great, right? That's not what you want to see. I do like the idea of taking Ito because I do think that Freeman is an injury risk, and at some point of the year, I think Ito is going to be the starter there. That he might be a decent choice. Let's look at receivers because we do need to get a second receiver. Again, look, Sanu is the long shot this round, so we just took him last round just to be sure that we had him, right? Curtis Samuel, also a long shot. I wouldn't mind taking him, although his bye week is 7. That doesn't help me for the bye weeks with the 2 guys that I have starting. Kenny Stills with a new quarterback. Marquise Lee coming back from an injury. Man, these are just not great. Look at that. Mecole Hardman. Okay. Now, even though he's got a negative work score, that's because primarily the value stinks right now because we're taking him much earlier than his value. But I think certainly he has upside. The Tyreek Hill situation is still not resolved. I'm running under the assumption that Tyreek will be suspended 8 games. Even though they're not going to arrest him now. That news just came out yesterday, right? Still super bad PR for the NFL. They have the personal conduct policy. It's pretty big transgression. The tapes that were released, I think 4 games is a minimum suspension, but more likely 8. That gives Mecole a chance to get himself established. So I wouldn't mind taking Mecole and Ito. You know, I mean, I think that would probably work here at this point in the draft. Oh, look, it's back to us already. So let's just say, Ito Smith, where are you? Let's go ahead and take him. And then we will go with Mecole and see if he's still available. No, he was already drafted. Bummer. All right, so let's just look at what other wide receivers are available. So we got Andy Isabella, Kenny Stills, Devin Funchess, Deebo Samuel. Boy, none of these are great. I'm going to go with, I think once it comes back to me, probably Funchess. I don't know. Boy, this is rough. Look, Stills, you know, he's got Fitzmagic, man. It could happen, right? It could happen. Oh, look, and there's DK Metcalf right there. Okay, let's, you know, what I often say is if there's no good choices on the round that you're looking at, if it's just like a bunch of turds that you just hate, go to the next round. See who's coming in on the next round. We got Devontae Parker, Traquan Smith, Quincy Enua. That he might be a good gambling part, but you know, I don't know, Kenny Stills. Why not? I mean, his fork score is not great, but certainly the opportunity's there. By week 5, I think we'll be fine. So let's go ahead and we'll take Stills. Just go with that. I'm not thrilled with that choice, but let's look at let's look here. So we got 2 more bench slots than the defense and the kicker. So let's go to the next round here. So we're going to be on the 13th, 14th round. Who are we recommending? Trey Burton is a tight end. We already have a tight end. If we want to take a second one, he's not a bad choice. Actually, I very much like him, and given that we have injury concerns with Vance McDonald, I think that would be a great idea to back him up on our bench with someone like Trey Burton. Adrian Peterson. Okay, I love Adrian Peterson, actually. That would be a great pick. I do not trust that Derrius Guice is going to be available at the start of the season. I think he's not progressing well in his recovery from his torn ACL. If that's the case, if he's delayed in starting the season, it's going to be Peterson's show. Peterson did very well last year, and I know he's an older running back. I don't usually take running backs this old, but I got to say, we're talking late in the draft. These are low-risk plays. If he doesn't work out, it doesn't hurt my team at all, right? So I love the idea. Let's go Burton and Peterson. And so I will queue them up, and it's almost back to us again already. Look at that. See how quickly we're moving here? So let's go Burton. Is he still available? He is still available. And let's go Peterson. Is he still available? He is still available. Look at that. See, that's what I love about this app, man. It's going to give you the best idea as to when players are available, so you know when you need to take them, right? So we're going to go ahead here, and I'll take Peterson first since he's higher on the list, and then we will take Burton with the next pick once it jumps back to us. And then all we need to do is take our defense and our kicker, and we are done. So there we go, and he's available. Now let's just take a quick look and see if there's anybody that's just on the board that we would be very interested in taking. Riddick, Williams, Samuels might be a nice handcuff for Connor, but I'm not really worried about it. Darrell Henderson. Okay, you know what? I'm sorry, I'm changing the play. I'm going to take Darrell Henderson, man. I do not trust Gurley this season. Okay, we will take him. That's a great pick right there. I love that. Let me just see here. If we look at the running backs, was he on? He should have been on the list here, but probably not rated very well. Just because he is, he's a backup, right? That's all he is. So let's see here. All right, well, we're not going to worry about it. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and just pause until the draft is over. I'll come back after I select the defense and the kicker. I'm sure I'll get decent options, and we'll review the team and take a look at it. I like this team. We put together a pretty good team here. All right, so we are all done. So let's review the team we got. All right, so for our quarterback, we got Jared Goff. Rock solid choice. Running backs. We got a nice, deep running back core. We picked 8 running backs, okay? So we've got James Conner, Damien Williams, David Montgomery, Tevin Coleman, Nyheim Hines, Ito Smith, Adrian Peterson, and David Henderson. That is an awesome core of running backs. I love that. That is just rock solid, man. Very happy with getting all those running backs. Then wide receivers, Juju Smith-Schuster and Jarvis Landry. Those are our rocks, man. We basically, I'm never going to bench those players. We did get Mohamed Sanu and we got Kenny Stills as backups. I only intend on benching either Juju or Jarvis on their bye week. They are going to be every week starters for me. For tight end, Vance McDonald, obviously there is the injury risk there, but I trust his role, and I trust his role is going to grow this year now that Antonio Brown is gone. Just like last year, he saw a nice increase in targets after Le'Veon Bell left, right? And he picked up some of the slack that Connor didn't do, right? So we got that. We have the Patriots as our defense. If you haven't done so already, I always stream my defenses, and I like to look at who has the best early season schedules. My favorites right now are the Patriots or the Cowboys. You can get them both late. They both have an awesome September schedule, and Patriots have one of the best schedules right now for defenses in the league. So I might just roll with them for the whole season, but I got them for at least the first 3 weeks. And then my kicker, Viniaterri, right? An awesome offense with a great quarterback, right? That can score points. They play in a dome. That's the kind of kicker that I want. I always target those kind of kickers. So that's what we got, man. I got to say, I love this team. I would be happy to take this team into my fantasy season. And I hope you saw how easy it was, right? I didn't need to track what players were coming off the board or anything like that. I was just using the app, looking at who the app was recommending, queuing up those players, came to my turn, boom, they were available just as I expected them. This is how the app works, okay? And so I encourage you to go to my website, once again, fantasyfootballmaverick.com. Please check it out. If you like it, please subscribe. It's only $10 for the app. You use it for the whole season. It's good for 1 year, and you can use it on as many leagues as you want. You can, and it's very flexible. And it's super easy to set up your customized draft list to take in there and find the best players at each and every round. All right. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe, and man, have yourself a great fantasy season. All right. Have a good one.